Hi, I'm Parneet Jaggi, and in this video, we're going to be talking about the famous essay, The Spectator Club, written by Richard Steele. Before we start with the essay and its text, let's know a little bit about who Richard Steele was. Now, he was a British essayist who was also known as the pioneer in writing essays because in his time, in the age where he was living, there was not much tradition of the essay that was popular, but there was more of drama and poetry which was prevalent among the masses. So he is also accredited with popularizing the genre of essay writing in his times. So Richard Steele was a British essayist, dramatist, and politician. He lived from 1672 to 1729, and he is best known for his collaboration with Addison on a series of essays for these two journals, Tatler and The Spectator. Now, Richard Steele was born in Dublin, Ireland in 1672, and his first comedy, The Funeral or Grief à la Mode, was performed successfully at the Drury Lane Theatre, which is a famous theatre of Ireland, in 1701. And the first issue of this magazine, Tatler's brilliant success, there was this another magazine or journal, The Spectator, which appeared in around 1711. And these journals were joint ventures of both Steele and Addison. They were the chief contributors to these journals also. Now, after the accession of King George I to English throne in 1714, Steele was knighted. He was made the knight by the king and he was re-elected to the parliament. And he died in Wales in September 1729. Now, what is the essay Spectator Club? To know it in brief, it is actually an essay which is regarded as Steele's finest achievement. It was published in The Spectator, and in this essay, he gives an account of the members of a club which he has been attending, and it is largely autobiographical. And these members are important because they represent the important sections of the society of that time. Now, there are chiefly 6 members in this club, which are described in detail in the essay. There is Sir Roger de Coverley, Captain Sentry, Sir Andrew Freeport, Will Honeycomb, the clergyman, and the student of law. Now, when we talk about this essay in detail, we will look into how he has characterized these people as representative of his societies. But to know just a bit of a background of this essay is actually an excerpt. This excerpt was published in one of the most popular periodicals of his time, The Spectator. But what is interesting is that the Spectator Club, as Steele depicts it, is made up of fictional characters. Now, that makes this straight up fiction, which means that even though The Spectator was a journalistic publication, a lot of the writing published in it was fictional. And during his age, when he lived, the Augustan age, the line between journalism and fiction was pretty thin. It was difficult to demarcate what was journalistic writing and what was fiction. Novelists like Daniel Defoe and Jonathan Swift routinely framed their novels as journalistic works, true stories that were being told. And here we are looking at Steele upping the ante by publishing a fictional work in an actual journalistic periodical. Now let's know a little bit about, very briefly, about what this periodical, The Spectator, was, which created waves in England in those times. Spectator was a weekly magazine written by Joseph Addison and Richard Steele, which followed an earlier weekly magazine also written by both these writers called the Tatler. While the Tatler was designed chiefly by Steele to discuss moral issues in light, somewhat gentle and humorous essays. On the other hand, The Spectator focused more consistently on political, philosophical, religious, and literary issues, for the most part from what we now call a liberal perspective, as opposed to the more conservative political party, the Tories. So there was this pull and this stiff throughout between these two political parties, Whigs and Tories, the politics of which was remarkably brought out in these journals, especially the Spectator. So this was a very, very brief introduction of how this essay came into being, where it was published. It was an excerpt from the Spectator, what the Spectator journal was, and we will look into the text of this essay in detail in the coming video. Thank you for now.